This is the Smoked Debrief. Light up, lock in, and let's get to it.
Hi, I'm Jim. I'm Hollywood, and this is the Smoked Debrief. Today, we're going to season a humidor. If we know what we're doing, we're going to try. This is a beautiful Warfighter tobacco humidor. The boys sent me for the TV series Office Joe. Sadly, it got here about 3 days too late. But the cool thing about it is, other than the fact it's beautiful, is it has a great accessories drawer right here for your cutters and your lighters. And it's interesting. I tried to season this with Levitas 84 and it didn't work. So I reached out to the manufacturer and they sent me all the stuff that they recommend for the humidification. So Jim and I are going to try that today after we try this amazing smoke that you got for us. What do we have today, Jim?
This is La Gloria Cubana Serie R Maduro, and it is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper.
It's Jim's girlfriend talking to us.
What? Siri is trying to horn in on my cigar conversation. A Connecticut Maduro broadleaf wrapper, and we've got Nicaraguan and Ecuadorian binder filler.
I think it's Nicaraguan and Dominican.
Nicaraguan and Dominican. Sí, el Pablo. Gracias. So far, so good. And look, I think you'll like it because it's a smoker. Look at that.
Not an easy draw, though.
You're not used to anything this big in your mouth, are you?
No, but it is a smoker.
It is. I like it.
It's going to need a lot of attention or it's going to go out. Do you have some instructions on how to do this humidor here, Jim?
I do. They're inside the box.
Okay.
So let's see what we got to do to this bad boy here. Okay. All right. Come on.
It's got a cleaning rack for the glass and a separate
reading instructions
cigar section for your favorite cigars.
How I season my humidor is just a little bit different than most people because I usually just will pour some coffee in there and
right.
Let it
Salvation coffee, correct?
Salvation coffee, yes. Nobody else's. Okay, first thing we're going to want to do is remove the plastic pull tab from the back side of the digital hygrometer.
That's done.
Turn it on. Okay, you've already done that. What are we reading? We're reading 34% right now. Of course, that will change. Now, step 2, rest the bottom of the hydro tray on the wood cover in the humidor and carefully fill it with the humidor solution.
Okay, so
you got your solution. There you go.
Here's what they recommend on a video I watched. There's a section down inside here for this humidification tray to stay. But for seasoning, they recommend putting this back in here, removing the lid from the humidification tray, and setting this on top there. Are you reading the seasoning or just normal maintenance?
This is the first steps.
Okay, so what does it say to do?
Okay. Rest the bottom of the hydro tray on the wood cover in the humidor. Carefully fill it with the humidor solution. Have you got the right solution?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so this morning I watched the video on seasoning this humidor.
You want to do winter dry climate?
We're going to do not the winter.
Okay. Well,
does it say anything about seasoning in there? And I know that
14 days. Yeah, that's what we're going.
Okay.
Okay. Use winter. Use about a quarter of the bottle. Use the winter plus dry climate solution if you're seasoning in the cold winter months, or if you live in a dry climate. I think we're okay.
I'm going to season the box, though. Yeah.
Are you sure? I might have to whip the pliers out on this bad boy.
You might have to. Okay.
Whoever the little Chinese man is, put the lid on that one. That's strong arms.
Some kung fu going on. I think that's
Lord.
This is what happens to you when you get old, man.
Yeah, back in our day, we didn't have this safety bullshit we had to worry
about. We didn't, did we?
No.
That's hilarious.
Our gas cans didn't need a valve.
That's funny. Here you go. Pour that into that and then rub it all around the inside, man.
Sir, yes, sir.
All down in this section. All over the side. Here on the side here. Now let's do it one more time. Just for good measure.
You want to hear it, boy? My freaky way of
Yes, tell me.
Doing a
Besides,
Humidor.
on there.
You go.
Okay.
We need to.
Need some more juice?
There's some plenty on it.
Okay. All right.
I will get the shower.
Now we take this, put this in top over the. What do you need? It goes on top of
Okay.
Then we put this in here, and now we take the spring, summer, which is this one, correct? That's the one, right?
But how
Better have the draw, buddy.
I have taken a bit larger than that. It was about the size of this table. I took it and opened it up, turned the shower on as hot as I could get it. Just let it start steaming in there. Put a little eucalyptus in the shower, all the time. Gets that eucalyptus in there.
In your humidor?
No.
You're a moron. You have a shower that puts out eucalyptus? What kind of bougie lifestyle are you living?
It was essential oil.
I don't care what. Okay, so now I filled up the 4/4 of the tray in there. We're going to put this in here. We're going to lock it down, leave it for a week, and we'll see what happens when we come back next week. Read the directions just to be sure.
Yeah, we got 14 days.
Also, here's what comes with the humidor. 2 crystal packets. These will go in after you season the humidor. Spring summer solution, and a winter fall, or if you live in Colorado or Las Vegas, you use the more acidified solution this is a 65 to 72, and this is the winter dry weather solution, extra strength. So now we've got the formula in there.
We're going to set this bad boy.
Why don't we just leave it here? That way there won't be any spillage, because I know how clumsy you are.
Boy, you are just a bundle of confidence.
Well, Foreman died. I love George Foreman.
He
was
seemed like such a sweet man.
I lived on college. I lived off the George Foreman grill.
You had one in college. Did they have him that back then?
What are you trying to say?
Well, when I was in, and I wanted to cook a little spam sandwich, a spamwich, I took the iron that I used to iron my clothes and turned it upside down and closed it in the drawer of the desk and cooked my spam on it.
That just sounds disgusting.
That's infantry.
Yeah, of course it is. Infantry.
The Air Force, not everybody had a bowling alley they could go to and get nacho cheese.
Bowling alley burgers, man, on the base. Those are the greatest. And on flying base, because we had base operations cafe. You go to the base ops cafe, and there'd be Guam. Anderson's the best because Anderson was a huge transient MAC base. MAC,
Yeah,
Military Airlift Command. Everybody stopped in Guam if they were going to the Far East or if they were going back to the States, because Guam was the middle of that huge Pacific Ocean. And before we flew, we go to base ops, get boiler briefing at base ops, go to the base ops cafe. We should get some chili dogs and some chili, so you can fill the airplane with smoking fumes once you got like 15, 16,000 feet, and that pressure started working on you.
How many kids did George Foreman?
1,000?
And they were all named George. He named every one of his kids. They were all named George.
Really? I did not know that.
Except for this one, it was a little strange. His name was Hyacinth.
Or they're kidding, are you? And somebody else's anniversary was death, right?
Yes. March 19th, Randy Rhoads, the anniversary of his death.
Who was Randy Rhoads?
Randy Rhoads was, if he had lived, I believe he would have outshone Eddie Van Halen as far as guitar. He was truly talented, fantastic guitar player. Everybody knows him from, I believe he started Quiet Riot. I think he formed Quiet Riot with a couple other guys first.
Dee Snider?
No, that's Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister. Rock and roll and all, they all sound the same.
But he was Ozzy Osbourne. He was Ozzy Osbourne's guitar player, and I had the privilege of seeing him when in Knoxville, Tennessee, the last concert he ever played. He got killed the next day.
How did he get killed?
Airplane crash, and it crashed into the tour bus.
What?
I'm not exactly, I can't remember all the details, but it was something. They were flying. They had stopped over in between. I think it was in Florida. They had stopped at the manager's house or the roadie's house, whoever, and one of them was a pilot. They got up in the plane and were flying, and they decided they were going to buzz the tour bus or something. I'm not, but it crashed into the tour bus, and I think it hit the house as well. But and it killed them. And it's just crazy.
That is crazy.
But he was an amazing guitar player, amazing guitar player. Not just like metal. He played classical guitar as well. He passed away before his time, but you know, that's weird because you know a lot of talented guitar players. Stevie Ray Vaughan,
helicopter crash, right?
yeah, Jimi Hendrix,
Buddy Holly.
you know, Eric Clapton was supposed to be on that helicopter with Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Really?
Yeah, because they were at the same.
In California.
Was it like the US Festival or something like that they were performing? And I have to check my facts on that. But
Hey Siri, what concert was? See, that's an old fucking with me. Stevie Ray Vaughan at when he crashed and died. No. What concert? What concert was Stevie Ray Vaughan at when he died in a helicopter crash?
so then Austin.
To use ChatGPT to answer that.
See, ChatGPT's taking over. Sure.
Are you subscribed?
I don't think so. After you
Stevie
left
Ray
him.
Vaughan died in a helicopter crash on August 27, 1990, after performing at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin. He had just
Wisconsin.
completed a concert with Eric Clapton and other musicians, including his brother Jimmy Vaughan, when the accident occurred.
Jimmy Vaughan from the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Tough enough.
Are you tough enough? Is that it?
Yeah. Hey, oh, by the way, the your thrift shop got us copyrighted.
What do you mean?
Your song "Thrift Shop" got us copyrighted,
It did?
as well as my old dirty bastard. But they allowed it.
They did?
Yeah. But I hate it when it says that copyright warning. You know, it says copyrighted, and why do that when they're going to let you do it?
I don't know. Tell me why.
Oh, that's YouTube. You would think that artists, if I was an artist and I had a lot of popular songs, I'd want everybody and their mother to play that shit.
It's not about that. It's about you might be making money off of it. That's what it's about.
We definitely ain't making no money off this
Yeah,
podcast.
because you don't know what you're fucking doing. You don't know how to advertise, how to promote us. Take that. Every week, 4 hours of my life. Because
Well, today you fucked up. You trusted me. We're getting there. It is a learning process, and I have learned.
how is it possible? You're a genius. You're a hillbilly genius. You don't know what you're doing, but it's working. You have a super highly successful coffee empire.
I am blessed.
You're
I'm
blessed.
surrounded.
You surround genius.
Young, tech savvy,
They're not watching.
YouTube.
They're not watching.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Watching this, but you know, I'll work on that. I wonder if they'll work for coffee.
I can't believe you're bailing on me on.
Sorry, man. We got a lot of events going on. It's this weekend we have events, and then Monday is the aftermath. I've got a roast. I got a canned coffee. I got a filled cold brew kegs.
Do you hear that?
I can't make it.
It's a whole orchestra of violins, man.
I'm sorry, I won't be there. All your shit and drive your golf cart. I did try to get. I asked both of my nephews who both golf, and I figured one of them, you know, he's a white dude from Kamala. I figured it was in Cary, it would be right up his alley. And
He's a
loves
white
golfing.
dude for Kamala. He would have wanted to kill me 5 minutes into it. With me knowing that, I would have harassed him, even though I don't disagree with something.
His daughter's got soccer. I love him to death. And I have been promoting the Smoke Debrief on Instagram. We have a dedicated Instagram. Yes, and I did boost it, which means I'm paying for advertisement. We're getting a lot of followers off of that.
Are we really?
Yes. You don't ever check that shit. Have you watched any of our episodes? Don't lie. And don't say you have when you're just watching a clip that I sent. I doubt you even watch those clips. You know the one that everybody loves when you're calling Peter Chris.
I tell you, when it comes to life, I'm like Maverick in Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder.
You sure not James Garner, Maverick?
No. When Robert Duvall is talking to him in the bar and says, "You got to let me know what the car's doing. If it's running tight, I'll loosen it up. If it's running loose, I'll tighten it up. I'll put a wedge here, And Tom Cruise looks at him and goes, "I don't have any idea.
I don't know what any of that means."
That's right. What? How can you? He goes, "I just drive." That's me in life. I know some things about life. I don't have the expert criteria in facts and figures, but
But if I change that camera angle one little iota, you're like, "Oh, it's all wrong. Come closer. Raise it up. Now drop it down. Now move it in. Now move it back out."
how many episodes have we lost because I wasn't paying attention?
We've only lost one episode, and I don't think that was neither one of us.
That was actually divine intervention from God above
Because of what we were
talking about. That now, I don't think God sticks his hand in everything we do, but that was God.
We will have a battery failure.
We will have none of that.
So we'll take that as a blessing.
We'll take that as a blessing. Yeah, absolutely.
Learning.
You know
what will be funny is we do a video of us watching that video and we dub ourselves only in Espanol.
Está bien.
Sí. Mucho gusto. La Gloria Cubana.
¿A todos los españoles, tú sabes?
Hola, mamá, totetes.
I would think a man like you, who has seen the TV series True Detective.
True Detective. I have, yeah.
You've seen
Woody
the first
Harrelson.
series, right? With
Matthew
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
It got slow.
It was slow, but then the end made it all worthwhile. It was crazy.
I never made it to the end.
What?
Maybe I did. Was the end when he went to the farmhouse and he found the two dudes there and they killed the two dudes at the farmhouse?
I don't remember. It's been a while.
They're still being interrogated by the detectives. That's what's going on. And that was so slow.
Even the DEI version of True Detective, the last one with Jodie Foster, HBO went all DEI with it. It was good.
I skipped 2 and 3 and went right to 4 because of Jodie Foster and the fact that it's in fucking Alaska. I like any show that's like Norway or Sweden. I watch all of those Skarsgård movies. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, there are
Those are good movies.
100 or 200 Scandinavian detective shows.
Have you seen the one with Steven Van Zandt that was on Netflix where he was a mafia guy and they put a hit out on him, so he moved? I think it's called like Norway or something. Let's find out. Hey Siri, what is the Netflix show that Steven Van Zandt is in?
Oh, he's the guy from Sopranos.
And he was also Bruce Springsteen's guitar player. Really Hummer. It is great. Dude.
Was Steven Van Zandt in Sopranos?
Yeah.
He was Bruce Springsteen's guitar player?
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah.
And he was on The Sopranos too? He's the guy with the crazy hair, right? And the weird looking face.
That was Steven Van Zandt was Bruce Springsteen's guitar player.
Well, you know what's interesting? Did you watch season 4 of True Detective?
I've watched all the True Detectives.
Well, they mentioned, what was Matthew McConaughey's name?
I don't know. In the show?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Detective dude.
They mentioned the ghost that the lady sees. That's McConaughey's father.
Oh, that's insane. I didn't know that.
Don't you remember McConaughey?
Rewatch it.
Because you're like, it's a good show. Oh, okay.
Hey,
do you remember him being interrogated?
Just saw the Warrior. So don't even talk.
You remember him being interrogated by the cops, and He goes, "Well, I lived in Alaska for a while with my dad." Do you remember him saying that when he was being interrogated by the cops?
No, because I don't remember that much about a particular scene.
Do you remember in the 4th episode when the lady sees the guy and she follows him out into the Arctic
I remember that. Yeah.
and they find the scientist? You remember that? And the guy was a ghost. That guy
It's Matthew
was
McConaughey's
Matthew
father
McConaughey's dad
from the previous.
from the first season.
Okay. See, now I'll have to watch it again. Because you look, that's one of the things I like talking to people about different shows. Because you learn a little bit, it makes you want to go back and watch it and see even more. You know, you just when you find out stuff. Quentin Tarantino's Video Archives podcast, they do movie reviews on old movies and stuff. You learn so much just them talking about it, and they talk about certain things.
It's like folks watching us. They learn what we don't know about everything.
I'm sure that I am 100% responsible for the Warriors getting a boost on streaming this past month.
And I'm sure my conversation is going to help those poor WNBA players get equal salary.
It is. They're going to reference that.
You have got to watch out when you're on the internet because AI is so good now.
Yeah.
I saw a press conference with Angela Reese yesterday that if I was an idiot, I would have believed it. It looked so. She's that basketball player that's causing trouble.
Eyelashes.
If I was an idiot, I would have believed what she was saying. Hey Siri, what was Matthew McConaughey's name in True Detectives?
He's 5'12", 230 pounds. 5'12".
6 feet as well.
So you've got surgery on the
17th.
17th? I think that's the same day I go in.
For your dichotomy?
Yeah.
Have that dick taken out of your head?
Needs to be shortened.
So I heard that.
My back, hold it up.
True Detective with Matthew McConaughey. What was his character name? Rustin Cole.
Rustin Cole.
Now,
his little brother was named Burnin' Cole.
Hey Siri, what was Rustin Cole's father's name?
Do you want me to use?
Yes.
Smelling coal. Digging coal.
I'm sorry, but I couldn't find specific information about Rusty Cole's
It's
father's
not
name.
Rusty, it's Rustin.
You rely too much on Siri.
I don't know what Siri at all. I look it up.
So we lost George Foreman. You remember? Did you ever see any of his?
Priscilla Travis, the mysterious figure connected to Rose Aquino, is Rust Cole father. The revelation that connects to the mythology of season 1.
Right on.
What did you just say?
Did you ever see any of George Foreman's later fights?
Yeah. Well, didn't he come back and beat somebody? At 50 something? Yeah. I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine that.
Because how old are you? 55?
I'm 57.
Can you imagine getting punched at 57 years old?
My wife beats me every night.
You know,
I live it every night.
You know what's weird? I have not been a doctor or two, right? Most of my life. When I was in the military, I was an aviator, and you never went to the doctor because
that's kind of weakness.
And all they wanted to do was denif you.
Yeah,
duty on flying. And you're always afraid they were going to see something in your blood or your heart, so you only your yearly physical would you go, and then usually you try to go to the flight surgeon that you played intramural sports with. You know, look kind of freaky.
Hollywood, you got to loose. We're grounding you.
Every doctor I go to now, when I come into for an exam, blood pressure before the doctor starts, the nurses always say, "Do you feel safe at home?" You go to the VA, they don't give a shit. But every civilian doctor,
wait a minute. I'll have you know, when I go in that front door of the VA, and you walk up there and they have got that little rainbow sign posted there wanting to let you know that you can tell them your preferred pronouns because they want you to feel comfortable at the VA. So I take offense to that, sir.
Well, I apologize. But anyway, every time I go, they ask me if I'm safe at home, which is...
Do they ask if you have guns?
No.
They've asked me at the VA.
Of course, because the VA is trying to F you.
I'm not answering that.
we don't care about your pronouns, but you better not have a freaking gun. But that's cool, because it's sometimes women, men being abused can't get away, to get help.
Why they can't get away? Because it's so good. It's worth getting beat up.
This is why we can't have a diversified group of followers, because Jim is such an ass.
Oh my Lord!
You think that you're funny, but you're not.
Really?
Yeah, you're really not. You're offensive. If you're offending me, just imagine what you're doing to everybody else.
Yeah, offend you?
I can't be offended. No, you didn't.
Are you getting beat up?
No.
Now.
I'm glad that they do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice because
There are
especially
people that cannot get away from a shitty situation.
especially pilots. I mean, they're stuck up front of that plane.
You can't have we can't have a serious conversation.
Okay, let's get serious.
I mean,
it is nice that they do that because it could help somebody. It could save a life. Could save 2 lives because this guy might be getting tired of it and go home and handle it, or vice versa. And
or this woman might be getting tired of it.
Yeah,
Tell her dad, and he goes and handles it.
because her dad was the chief administrator of the hospital, and he found out that this guy told on his wife, and he calls his daughter and says, "Hey, you need to get your man straight."
Be a screenwriter. That was some amazing plot right there, Jim. You're like Dan. Dan can't be serious. He's dating this girl. He had their first date last night.
Oh, is this the one that he insulted her booty?
The one that he didn't insult her booty, insulted her photo.
Oh,
that kind of showed her
photo
booty,
of her booty.
but it really wasn't of her booty. Then Dan, we'll have Dan on here. Yeah. But first, we're going to talk so much shit about him. So if he does come on, folks will be really excited. So Dan is very insecure.
Yeah,
because he needs constant affirmation. His love language is affirmation, words of affirmation.
How are you going to find a girl that immediately when you first meet her, they're like, "Oh my, amazing!
Well,
eyes are so."
Well,
oh,
if you said that, he'd say, "She's coming on way too strong. Why is she saying these things? This is Dan. That's what he'd say. She doesn't know me. How can she?" Anyway, I'm constantly listening to this and mentoring him and trying to give him good advice from my 300 years of dating experience. So she was in an abusive relationship before this. She was.
Oh, okay.
She met she knows Dan's friend, our friend Michelle.
Yeah.
She told Michelle she thought Dan was good looking. When Michelle was working on setting it up, just out of a fluke, Dan saw her profile on Dan's the app. He said, if you didn't have a photo of your butt, maybe you'd have a nicer group class of guy. What a character for him to do that to somebody.
That's not as bad as taking her out on your first date. You go see Raw,
which is what you did.
Yes, I did. I'm married to her.
The next, let's see, Tuesday, she goes out with her girlfriend. She gets drunk. And on her way home, she calls him. And she's really drunk. She really couldn't carry on the conversation.
Yeah.
And then he stayed on the phone with her. And so the next day, he's like, she hasn't called yet. I said, bro, number one, she's either hungover and sleeping, or 2, she's so fucking embarrassed that she called you that she doesn't know what to do. And Dan's like, well, blah, blah. I'm like, that's an idiot. I mean, I love him. When it comes
you can't think about how a guy.
No, you can't. So I'm like, I said, she's probably at work, barely alive because she drank too much. The fact that she called you when she was drunk, that means she's been thinking about you non-frickin' stop, pal. Because for her to call you and she's never even met you, she's never even gone out with you yet, that means you're on her frickin' mind. Well, I don't know. I said, well, I know you. I'm like, so yesterday.
Maybe it would be better to have her on the show.
I'll see if we can get her on the show. And so yesterday, they're going out last night. Yesterday, he's like, he's so insecure. It's like I text her an hour ago and she hasn't responded. At a session.
Anesthesiologist.
Oh,
And
An esthetician. They're busy. Yes. And when they're with a client, they're not like us. So we can fuck off and be on the phone. I could be on the phone right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, she's like, okay, this is.
Let me get that.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, let me check my phone. Oh,
No, she's not doing that.
no, she's not.
And I'm like trying to explain that to him. He's like, well, I don't know. And then yesterday he calls me before they're dating. He goes, I've been looking at her pictures. And I don't know because Dan is obsessed with big asses.
Well, she's not going to put any pictures of her booty on there now.
That's for sure. And
You're going to burn a hole in my leather.
I've already burned a hole in your.
I know. I feel it right here. Sorry, I'll send you a bill.
I know you will. Still waiting on that TV bill that I can't go into it.
So have they?
So he called me yesterday. He goes, I don't know that her butt's that big. You know what I mean? Dan, here's Dan's dilemma. Dan likes a big ass for the sexual pleasures.
Okay.
I mean, big.
Okay.
But so big that he wouldn't want to be seen in public with her.
Are we talking like Cardi B big?
We're talking big.
Big.
Big round. It can't just be big. It kind of has some curvature, like like the moon.
Something makes her mix a lot blood.
But if it's big enough for him physically, he can't date her because it's too big. It's too juicy.
Too juicy.
So he calls me yesterday. Afternoon. He goes, I don't know that her butt's that big. I don't know if this is going to work. And I just want to punch him in the face.
Is he talking to her butt?
He's such a child. I mean, he really is. He's 15. It's like when you're a kid and your best friend is talking about stuff and it's ridiculous. The way 15-year-old kids think.
Yeah.
Boys, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
I know it's talk like that.
So I'm like, I didn't even respond. And they said, let me read what he said.
He didn't expect it to be read on.
Oh, I'm gonna read everything he says. I just went back through Blank's social media and really looked hard at it for the first time. I'm actually afraid her ass is much smaller than it looks in that picture. You remember how our friend thought her own ass was big? I think she might have a different definition, so we'll see. And then after the date, he said, because of course, after the date, he said, well, I have to say that the date with X very, very well. I'm into it for sure.
Good for him.
Not the dating girl, but her friend sent Dan a picture that X took of him, and it said, he's so cute, and I had such a good time. And Dan said, our friend says, tell her I showed you that picture she sent me and the text, and I'll kill you. He said, my lips are sealed. Terrible pic of me, but oh well. And I wrote back, you look great, you arrogant prick. And our friend said, I agree with that. I said, it makes you seem ingenuine when you say shit like that every single time. He goes, shut up. Then he said, that's a great text, he said. And I said, there you go. It's like being back in high school, man. It really is. He's going to go with me to that.
Woody's and it's in Cary.
Yeah. This is a decent smoke.
It is. I'm enjoying it.
It's a little wet.
What do you mean?
It feels a little thick.
Yeah. It's a big damn cigar.
But here's what's interesting. I was really excited when Gloria Cubana first came out with this cigar because I think this could have used.
This is nice.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Covered 100, 200, 400, and 550. How long have they been there? 1993. You know what, though? I'd have to check to be 100% sure. They're susceptible to new ordinances. 1993 is what's the cutoff. The ranges that were open before that are exempt from any new regulations by anybody.
Really?
Yeah. 1993 was the cutoff, I believe it was. But it looks nice. It really does. I see what you're talking about.
Which is rare for me. because you know how fast I smoke cigars.
Yeah.
Because I get a
And
good
look,
because I get a good strong inhale.
well, you've been running your mouth. So.
Well, because you finally asked me some questions. Normally, it's all me asking you because you don't give a shit about me.
That's not true, buddy.
Buddy, that's not true, buddy. Do we have a TikTok account yet? We need a TikTok account too.
Oh my Lord.
Because TikTok is where it's at.
You know what? I don't understand. Okay, you get on TikTok. I have the Aston Martin stuff on there. But some of those videos just makes me want to scream.
This is Office Joe's TikTok.
Did you have some young dude do that? Who's doing that?
Our friend who's doing we made the videos.
Yeah. No, you made the video.
There she is.
What are you talking about? Where? What?
I can't say it because it's.
Dan was very good in Office Joe. And that is a great show. If you've not seen Office Joe, it's available streaming on Amazon, and you can also get it on iTunes,
Google Play,
and Google Play. And it's a great show. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in the first episode. The first episode is probably the most epic of all.
I have to admit, you were pretty epic.
But I wasn't.
You were. You were yourself. You were a funny guy.
It's not myself.
You're a funny guy.
You just got through getting onto me because I can't be serious.
No, you can be serious.
I think the mistake.
You're not mysterious very often.
Well, if you'll notice, I don't think that they really wanted me in the show.
You know, that's not true.
Because they filmed me through a dirty
You know who wanted you in the show?
Who?
I did. That's why you were in the show. Because I wanted you in the show.
It's not because I
was the producer.
Sponsored the show.
It didn't matter if you sponsored it enough. I wanted you in the show.
Well, thank you, buddy. I think where I messed up, because I studied those lines and I was practicing those lines with Courtney and everybody at the shop, and I had them where I remembered. And then you get there and it's like I was drawing a blank. But then I think what compounded that was that I told Nick I don't want to see the pictures because he was going to show me beforehand, and I was like, I want to see him when we're doing the show because I thought that would be better. The reaction would probably be better.
Wasn't better.
It would come out better on film. No, because I started laughing my ass off, and you guys say I was being myself, but you act like myself is some racist, homophobe, and I'm not. That's the person I was supposed to be playing.
Say that I always quote because it makes me laugh so much.
Oh Lord!
Only gay. A theme park for kids designed by Jeffrey Epstein.
But gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Everybody knows that. We know that. That's what I love about David Chappelle. David said, "I'm a fucking comedian."
He is so funny.
I'm a comedian. If you don't like it, kiss my ass.
Yeah, he's so funny. You know, Bill Burr has become quite an asshole.
He's gone to the dark side.
Yeah, and
that's too bad.
Some of his little digs. There's a difference in if you're roasting somebody and that person's right there. Okay, that's fine and dandy because that person knows that. Okay, but there is a certain point where it's a hurtful dig, and Jimmy Kimmel, who is the worst show host of all time. Who do you think?
What's his face?
Which one?
The big head guy.
Conan O'Brien?
No.
Jay Leno?
No, the arrogant guy. Is he South African?
I can't remember. Is he even
on
there anymore? Trevor Noah.
No,
Trevor. It's not.
No, it's oh, come on. Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien.
Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert.
He's not South African.
Whatever.
He's supposed to be Catholic. They all. The vaccine dude, he was the vaccine guy, and now look at them all. They all look like a bunch of dumb idiots. Every one of them.
Here's what was wrong with the vaccine. If you want to take the vaccine, take the vaccine. I support you. Don't make me take. I had to do it to work. I couldn't work in the movie.
Which was wrong.
I know. I should sue the shit out of it because
it would not surprise me if there weren't lawsuits for to come out.
and it was bullshit. It's been proven now it was total bullshit. And hey, if you took the vaccine, good for you. That's great. And I'm not anti-vax.
You know,
I'm not anti-vax. I got measles, mumps, chickenpox. I got all that.
Yeah, everybody did.
I got nothing against that, but a highly untested vaccine made up in 3 months.
And then they mandated that we had to have it.
Kick all those people out of the military.
Ridiculous. I got the Johnson and Johnson.
That's what I got, but then I had to get the Maduro over.
Yeah, I didn't have to do it, and I regret it because I did have some like breathing issues afterwards, and people are like, "Well, it's not. There's no way that would have done that."
I have vertigo.
How do you know? Nobody tested the shit. How do you know?
I have vertigo issues. Never had vertigo ever in my life. I thought I'll be standing up, and I feel myself leaning forward, and it's not just because I'm fucking 100 years old. It happened.
It's not spliced around.
It happened like 6 weeks after I had the vaccine.
Yeah, it's insane. You know, I did it drive-through at the VA. It was I had such a good time after I got vaccinated, though, because you know you had in the middle of the shutdown, you had mask holes where these people come in at the coffee shop. We had plexiglass up. I had hand sanitizers, and we would tell people as soon as they came in the door, you need to get a squirt of hand sanitizer before you come any further. And we were telling them, you need to do that. And they would get the hand sanitizer. We had plexiglass shields all around the bar. And I told our employees, if you're comfortable coming into work, we would love to have you come in and work. If you don't want to come in, totally understand. We're not going to hold it against you. Everybody wanted to work. Everybody came in.
Really?
I had face shields. I've got a case. There's probably 5,000 face shields in the warehouse. Nobody wanted to wear them. I had masks custom printed that had Hug Life on the front of them. I got a bunch of those back there. And we had some of the girls would wear masks, okay, and was fine. But I didn't mandate it. I didn't make them wear the mask. I would go up front, and the line, we couldn't have tables. Our tables were all pushed up. The chairs were on top of the tables. It was horrible. But the line was out the door. I mean, people are, lined around the building because we were the only place open. And I had there was this one man that there was just something about him, and I just kept watching him when I was behind the counter. And because I'll just sit back behind the counter and I'll observe because I'm always looking to see if there might be a way to improve the service. And I watched this man, and there was just something about him. I just like, okay, I just had a feeling. This guy waits in line 15, 20 minutes, and then he gets up to the front of the counter, and I'm behind the cashier, and he says, "You all aren't wearing masks?" And I stuck my hand around the plexiglass, and I said, "It's a personal choice for them, sir. We're not mandating they wear masks." And he said, "Well, I'll take my business elsewhere." I said, "Yeah, I think you should." The guy waited in line to do that. Yeah, to do that.
Classic, man.
And then gives us a 1 star on Google. And Google lets people do that. There should be some way of knowing that person has your product, has sampled your product or something. But Google doesn't.
If you don't have tons of reviews, that would hurt you.
It still hurts because it's not. It's a lie. This he was just a jerk. Well, he's from Durham. No surprise there.
Does he ever come back?
No, I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't recognize? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Should be able to tag him, shoot him, and put a tag in his ear.
And we have a lot of law enforcement come by there. And at this time during the shutdown, we gave discounts. Healthcare workers, their stuff was free. We had a jar set up, and people were putting money in the jar to pay for healthcare workers for their drinks. We kept that on for like 3 or 4 months. That's a lot of money. We had people coming in when, one of our large drink is $6. We would have people come in and they will abuse it, but we don't have any way of verifying it. Well, this one woman comes in and she's like a vet tech, a veterinarian. And yeah, okay. If you consider yourself a healthcare worker, whatever, and like somebody come in, they're a school nurse. Okay, I guess that counts, even though schools aren't in right now, but whatever. But we fed the police. We had a thing. The food truck was there, Bacon Essence, because all their events had been canceled. And I told him, I said, come down, set up in our parking lot. He was there every day of the week. And one week we fed the cops and we said, if you come in and you're in uniform, your meal's on us. And it was just great. There was this one Elon student came in. She came in, got her drink, and went outside. And she started going off on this Elon cop who had stopped to get coffee because he didn't have a mask on. She stopped him to his car and went off. And the next day, the guy, because he's a regular, he came back in. And I was like, what was that girl? Because she was real animated. And he said, I wasn't wearing my mask. I was like, really? He said, yeah. And I had to tell her, I'm off duty. I am not, we are not in Elon. It's just ridiculous. These people that take it upon themselves to be the world's police on every stupid little thing. And now they all look like fools. They were fools then, but now they're really fools because we know it was all bullshit.
But Gloria Cubana Serie, Maduro, let's smoke. I should have taken better care of it, make sure that it was a little bit drier before we smoked it. But outstanding smoke. That's Jim. I'm Hollywood. This has been a Smoked Debrief.